Okay, so who's feeling it? Who is feeling this rise in masculine energy? I have noticed since about October, maybe November, that a lot of the core themes that I'm sharing in my close inner circles are that of discussing the father wound, discussing masculine feminine polarities, but there's a real emphasis on masculine energy, the wounds that come with that, the shadows and the positive expressions of that. There's been such heavy conversation in my close interpersonal circles that has to do with masculine energy. But as we are nearing the new year, I'm noticing that there's this ramping up, this energy of masculine energy surging through me. And a lot of the themes I've been talking about on my YouTube channel have been that of taking action. Action is one of the most prominent masculine energies there is. So I never take these types of themes lightly. When there are reoccurring themes that are often happening in my life, that is my cue to usually share. But this has been a reoccurring theme I've been seeing in my close friend circles and within the collective. And then it got me thinking, well, come this spring, we have 3 generational planets. So the generational planets in astrology are Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, and Saturn, which means that once they move into a sign, they're there for a really long time, 10 to 20 years. And we have 3 of those generational planets that are shifting, and they're all shifting into masculine signs. We just had Pluto go into Aquarius, which is also a masculine sign. So we have all 4 generational planets moving into masculine signs, and they are going to be there for like the next 20 years. And so what I am picking up from all of this is that we are going to start seeing, well, two major themes. And these major themes are both the shadow expression and the positive aspect expression. So as more masculine energy comes to our planet, it is going to inevitably shake up a lot of the shadows, which means there's probably going to be an absolute manhunt, literally and figuratively, towards men. We are going to see, I believe, next year an absolute uproar and an absolute war on masculinity. On the other half, for those of us that have been doing the work and are in understanding of how these polarities work within the universe, we'll be holding and anchoring down a very healthy, divine masculine energy. And I can see that expression coming through within me and within the people in my lives already, is that we are harnessing the power that's coming in, this beautiful power of the divine masculine, and going to be using it to anchor down and hold space for the energetic interference that's going to be happening, because there is going to be some dark shit going down next year. If you guys don't already know, we are moving into a numerological 9 year, which is all about endings, completion, letting go, and it's a winter cycle, it's a death cycle. And on top of that, we have the Chinese New Year of the snake, which is shedding that which no longer serves. So what we're moving into is going to be big next year. And I do think that we're going to see a lot of major themes around masculinity. And so for those of us that have been doing the work and already anchoring down, it is going to be our time to really hold and anchor down for the masculine, to be able to hold space for men, to be able to hold space for our own inner masculine, and to be taking action on our masculine qualities. We are about to see a shitstorm next year. I think what's coming for us all is something that none of us have ever experienced before, something that the collective has never experienced before, and it's going to be huge, whatever it is. And so remembering that we all have these very beautiful masculine attributes within us, and how can we be sharing them maturely and positively in the world, and how can we anchor down and hold space for more masculine energy to come in and for it to shine forth. And if you don't know what I mean when I'm talking about masculine and feminine energy, well then, I don't know, I can't help you there. I mean, I plan on making a video about it, but I can't help you today. I'm not speaking about men and women, but this is going to come out in the shadow form of, there is going to be a manhunt and war on men specifically next year. I do feel that coming because of the intensity of masculine energy that's coming in. It's going to shake some shadows. I want to talk about some of the things that we will be seeing. So this is going to look like a huge separation in the collective. This could look like that typical feeling of men are bad, men are evil, we must eradicate all men. And then on the opposite side of that is going to be men wanting to rise up and fight back for their humanity, for their rights. This is going to be showing a lot of the negative masculine traits. Now, I want to emphasize that when I am talking about masculine energy, I'm talking about an energy that lives and resides within all of us. But the way that we're going to see this in the collective is going to be what people are going to want is to eradicate men. We're going to be seeing this being turned towards men, because as a collective, we have a very infant understanding of what masculine and feminine means. We're in the very beginning stages of people actually understanding what that means. And so it's going to show up in the demonization of men, and it's going to show up in this big separation where men will want to fight for their rights and fight back, showcasing the more shadowy aspects of masculine energy, only furthering the wound that we already have experienced as a collective towards masculinity. And then we're going to see it in a lot of women or these leftist movements where there is this desire to eradicate men. And we're also going to start seeing this in the demonization of masculinity within ourselves. We all hold these masculine and feminine energies within us. And as we are bombarded with these energies, we are going to start seeing a potential demonization of how that energy shows up within us and within our lives, as well as it could also mean we're going to see positively how this energy shows up within our lives. So we're going to be seeing an uprise in the shadows and the qualities of masculinity and the uprise of divine masculinity, the positive attributes of masculinity. There's going to be a lot of healing of father wounds and healing of the shadows of masculinity. And there could also be the furthering of these wounds and shadows. Like I was saying earlier, the more that men are going to fight for their human rights and fight to keep their own masculinity, which is a right, it is going to bring out these shadowy traits within men. It's going to bring out shadowy traits within feminine and within women, within the collective. It is just going to bring out shadows all around. And for those of us who are ready for true healing, it'll bring out healing. So some healthy masculine traits are, as you can see here, action, structure, intellect, presence, containment, ambition, courage, direction, leadership, groundedness, safety, consciousness, self-awareness. And remembering these are not traits of men. These are traits of masculine energy that live both inside of men and women. Some unhealthy masculine traits are control and abuse, overthinking, materialism, overgiving, hyperindependence, dominating and domineering, unhealthy competition, because there is a way to do competition in a way that's actually supportive for masculine energy. There can be very healthy competition. This feeling of being closed off and hardened and cold-hearted and stonewalled, stubborn, overdoing, forcefulness. These are all unhealthy masculine traits. Violence is another one that I wish I would have put on here, but violence. And we're going to be seeing an uprise in a lot of these. As men feel like they need to fight for their rights, we're going to start seeing more hyper-independence and domination and violence and control. And we're also going to be seeing that from the women and the groups of people who want to eradicate men. We're going to be seeing the violence within them and the control within them and the domineering energy within them. So you can see how we all possess these qualities and how there is a real potential as this energy comes in to really shake and rattle some of these shadows. So we're going to be seeing an uprise in these healthy and unhealthy traits in all sorts of shadowy ways, like I've been saying. We're about to be blasted with masculine energy, and most people will not know how to handle this. There's such a history that we all have with the shadow expression of masculinity, like we were just looking at those unhealthy traits. That's the shadow expression. And this has deeply affected all of us right down to our DNA. So people are now needing to learn how to have a healthy relationship with masculinity because it's such a necessary energy for our survival and for how humans in life operates. And this is going to be really hard for most people, since most people will be completely unaware of all of these energetic shifts that are taking place. They're not going to know that this is happening to them on a higher energetic level. So people are going to be scared. People are going to be confused. And all around, there's this big potential for massive chaos as this energy comes into the planet, because it will bring up the history that's in all of our DNA. And this is where us as holders, the ones who've been on this journey for a long time now, are going to be needed most to anchor in the positive qualities, to be able to hold and be present with people as they're moving through these waves. So we're in the great time of healing. This is when the two polarities come together into wholeness. This is so we can come back together in wholeness as individuals and as a collective. We must heal our history with the shadow expression of masculinity in order for us to move forward. Plain and simple, the more that we push away masculinity, the more we're pushing away parts of ourselves. And the more that we do that, we begin to create separation with life in and itself. Masculine energy is a part of life. You cannot exist without masculine energy. And like I said before, we are in these very infantile stages of the human collective where we don't really actually understand that there is a difference between being a man and masculine energy. Masculine energy lives within everything, and feminine energy lives within everything. But there are men and women. Yes, do most men usually hold more masculine energy? Yes, they tend to, but not always. There are men that are born that have more feminine energy, and that's fine. Does it make them a woman? No. You're still a man, but you're a man with more feminine energy, more feminine qualities. Also, the wounded masculine, the one who was taught how to have more feminine qualities. We see this as the feminist movement has come in and feminized men, has masculinized women, and has flipped this polarity. And so a lot of men are not living in the proper polarity that was designed for their bodies and for their soul's purpose. And so we're going to be seeing a whole lot of internal and external warfare. And this is going to show up in a numerous amount of ways. And so the best thing that you can do right now during these times is to discover within you the positive masculine attributes and to bring more awareness to them and to share them with the world, to integrate them into your being, integrate them into your everyday life, and to also be aware of your shadow traits and to get to know those as well, and to ask yourself, how do these show up and how do they affect your life? And, how do you want to alchemize them into something different? So this is a little bit of my 2025 prediction for next year, you guys. We are moving into some uncharted territory as a collective. And the greatest thing that you can do, like I always say, is to really focus in on your healing journey, what you can be doing to contribute to a more better version of yourself, a positive version of yourself. And then from there, how does that spill into the collective? That is the single greatest thing that we can be doing right now, is working on our own wounds and making our lives better for us first and foremost, and then pouring from a full cup into our friends and family and collective. So that being said, you guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I look forward to talking more about this in the new year.